Greetings and salutations, knowledge seekers, and welcome to this video. Today I would like to talk to you about our tendency to take things personally. Everything that happens to us affects us emotionally, either positively or negatively, but there are certain instances in which we really go all in on our emotions and we fully commit, usually to the most negative aspects of our personality. Anger, anxiety, depression, any sort of negativity that completely takes over our body and mind and makes us behave in an irrational way. So let's talk about it. Why do we need to all the time take things personally? There's many answers to that simple question. One is, well, everything happens to me, so of course it's personal. And that is factual. I think we need to realize that if you like McDonald's coffee and then change the beans, even though 100 million people are affected by it, you are the most important person to yourself, so of course you're going to take that personally. So it's not a question of getting over your initial primitive emotional response, and I'll explain why I call it primitive in a little bit. It's not about suppressing it, it's not about not acknowledging its existence. It's about understanding how you feel first and foremost. So you feel angry, you feel frustrated, you feel unhappy, you feel depressed, you feel anxious, you feel stressed. These are emotions that are completely normal. Everybody experiences them. It's more relevant what you do when you end up in those states. But again, why do we take things personally? The usual explanation, and it's usual because there's a lot of truth to that way of thinking, is because you have two parts of your brain. The more primitive one, the part that's closer to your spinal cord, your basal ganglia, your amygdala, that dominates emotional responses, that's responsible for fight or flight, that protects your life at all costs. And then you have your prefrontal cortex. So every time somebody says something negative to you, it's disrespectful or in any way implies that you're not doing a good job, you're not being a good husband, you're not being a good friend, your primitive brain, your amygdala, feels threatened. So it starts triggering this fight or flight response. That's one part of it. And then the controlling part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, the one that's closest to your forehead, that assesses the situation and determines, well, actually that person just said that I was a little bit late on my work assignment, so probably I'm not gonna die because of this. Let's relax. But I think there's another, besides this obvious explanation that I think most of us are familiar with. There's another explanation as well. I think we always want to be in control. Not only do we, because we are the most important individual in the world, actually. If you are the center of your own universe, then everything else around you should spin in your orbit. And you should be able to, at any point, make the moving part stop, right? You're the god of it all. You stop there, and now stay, because I need to move. That's why you take a traffic jam personally, I think. It's not, I don't think necessarily when you're sitting in your car for half an hour, your amygdala is screaming that your life is in danger. I don't think that's the issue. I don't think that's why we take that kind of situation personally. I don't think when you are cleaning the house half an hour in, you get frustrated because your partner is not helping you. I don't think that's your amygdala. I think that's the desire to get a certain outcome that does not materialize, that pushes you to take the situation personally. I think it's the same with work. I think all of us have experienced situations in which you work from home, you're sitting on your couch, comfortably chilling, and then somebody sends you a text message or an email and you have to do work. It's like, oh, why did this guy write to me just now? It's really that important. I don't think you perceive the text message or the email in that situation as a threat to your life. I think it's more, I would like to be comfortable now, and I'm put out of my peaceful, blissful state. And I am the god in this universe, so why does this peasant there disturb me with their insignificant issues? It's pretty funny when you put it in that perspective, right? It's not exactly a reasonable way of looking at the world. But we don't like to admit that to ourselves. We like to be humble. We like to see ourselves as just a regular person. But the reality is that our brain cannot make that distinction. You can't relate to other people the same way that you can relate to yourself, because you live with your own thoughts at all times. You never know what another person is actually thinking. Sure, they're talking and they're giving you indications, but there's always this level of uncertainty. So you're always the most important person in your life. Which is why you don't take fortuitous outcomes in the same way, equally as personally, as you take negative ones. If there's no traffic jam, then that's not the sun shining on you. That's just normal. That's how it's supposed to be. The god gets a free path to his work, of course. What kind of alternatives are there? Of course you should. It should actually be that other cars are moving out of the way to make room for the god to get to his destination. It's obvious. Again, pretty hilarious when you look at it from that perspective. But that's the ego talking, right? So what can we do to address that incredible disbalance between perception and reality? Well, first and foremost, we can laugh at ourselves. I think that's a pretty good start. If you understand how your ridiculous your thoughts look when you're complaining about a traffic jam or about McDonald's changing their coffee beans, then you've taken a step in the right direction. Because we're not gods, we're just regular people that walk around surrounded by other regular people, and nobody cares about your personal opinions about yourself. Another thing we can do is we can just detach a bit. Not in the sense that we shouldn't feel our emotions, in the sense that we should just acknowledge them. As I said earlier, if you feel stressed, tell yourself, I'm stressed. Maybe I should do something else. Maybe I shouldn't be, even if you are in a conversation with somebody, maybe I should be quiet. Maybe I should focus on something else. Maybe I should go do some work. Maybe I should stop cleaning the house if that frustrates me and relax for half an hour. Put some kind of break to the pattern. Go out of the mold of constant frustration, constant agitation. Do that a little bit more often. Hopefully it becomes something that you ingrain in your behavior. You make it a habit. It's very difficult to achieve those things. It's very easy to verbalize these kind of conclusions. It's very difficult to put it into practice. So whatever you do, take some action. Test, find out what's best for you. Thank you guys for watching and listening. If you like my content, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.